It really isn't about the number. It's about God and how he, moved in people's hearts and lives. And you don't get that if you don't go all in.
What we wanted people to do is to grow spiritually. And if they grew spiritually, then everything else would fall in line in terms of the financial gifts and rewards.
Brian Dodd answered, he said, well, tell me about what you want. And I said, well, this might sound like a crazy answer, might seem like unrelated answer, but what I want is revival. And he says, well, Pastor, you're going to love this. Our whole process is based on 1 Chronicles 28 and 29. And you're not wrong. If God moves like God likes to move, and if your people allow him to move like he wants to move, you'll have revival and you'll have a new building.
The gap between the high end of the projection and the reality of this project was astronomical. We were asking our church, who had done multiple campaigns, but it had been over 10 years, to give almost six times the amount of money that they'd ever given in a campaign. Like, that was a huge ask.
Jeff Benefield felt that we could expect, if things went really, really well, was $1,500,000. So far, it's $1,785,000, I think. And we had a first fruits commitment of $385,000 during the government shutdown that we did all this.
In April, after Easter, we had our commitment Sunday, and our goal was $500,000. And I think thanks to the hard back-end work that Injoy helped us do, we were able to get pledges of almost $850,000. That's Commitment Sunday. So it was a big joy and celebration for us that day.
What is the church budget, and what did Injoy say that you could raise?
Yeah, we're a little over 4.6 million on a budget, and Injoy said between 4 and 6.5 million. And so as of now in commitments, mind you, our church put in about 400,000 in the year before, just because we had a little bit of a surplus coming out of our budget. But we've received 17.6 in commitments, including that 400,000.
I can guarantee you that the amount of money that we're going to raise by using Injoy is going to be far greater than that initial investment.
If you're going to do a project like this, you need to invest a little bit of money, obviously, on the front end and throughout, to make sure it's successful. And I think the return on what we spent working with Injoy was exponentially more. It was a great decision for us to work with Injoy, just to keep us guided through the process.
We did a lot of homework before we selected Injoy. We actually interviewed multiple organizations and felt like Injoy fit with our DNA and the process we really identified with and felt like it fit our context.
We tried, in essence, to do this on our own, and it didn't work. If you have the resource and knowledge to do it yourself, you probably would have already done it.
For us, Injoy had a breadth of experience, tons nationally. They had seen situations like ours, situations that weren't like ours, and brought a great deal of experience and a timeline and a plan that probably benefited us with where we were in our search.
Having someone that has worked with a number of churches throughout the U.S. and maybe even abroad just gives them a much broader perspective in terms of how they can go about helping you.
That they're spiritual. That's a big thing. That they're spiritual. This isn't just a company trying to make money. These are spiritual people who love the Lord, who really care, who really want God's will for your church.
You called Injoy because you needed to raise money. We're on the other side of it, and I asked all three of you, what are you most grateful for? And none of you said the money. That's pretty incredible. But God showed up and showed out in a great way,